Good morning or evening, friends. It is I, Wise Guys, and we're going to look at Menat. Menat. Okay. I think it's Menat, whatever. We're going to look at her in this Season 2 rundown. We are down to the final two characters, being Menat and Zeku. Menat was one that I think, after what we can probably agree was a disappointing outing with unveiling new characters, I think Menat was one that people kind of got excited for, and reasonably so. I mean, Menat, if you've played Soul Calibur 5, she's basically Viola. She has a really neat moveset and really good animations. In addition, she also has some of the better costumes in the game. Capcom figured they were going to go waifu status and just decided to go full on when they created Menat, and just, you know, give her all the really nice costumes. I'm a big fan of the original costume as well as the first alternate. Most people use the mummy costume for obvious reasons, and that's fine. This one's pretty good. It's a schoolgirl outfit with the book that replaces her floating orb. I think that was a really neat thing, and that's honestly what made me want to buy this particular skin. Just the notion that that book, like they took something that was there and made something else that A, made sense with the costume, and B, they explained something that was missing. Instead of making her a schoolgirl with an orb, which apparently is still around the book, they made her a schoolgirl with a book that just happens to function like her orb does. And I think that was a smart thing. Good lord, that's a nice combo. I gotta remember that one next time I play Zeku. Menat is a very nice character. She is mid to long range. I would argue that she's probably more mid-range than long range. I'm getting wrecked. Let's see if we can get out of this. I don't know combos as well as I probably should. I did practice a couple things before I went into this game, or until this setup. You can't really see them because Menat is a character unlike many others. I feel like you have to be really careful when playing her. You have to be very careful with your spacing and your distance. All of the best punishes you have, all of the best options you've got, are very space dependent. Most of her normals are very space dependent. I would suggest staying about mid-range, and if nothing else, utilizing that heavy punch. That fierce punch, that right there, does really good work because it hits opponents when they're not really expecting it. They can pretty much see that they don't have good space, and once they realize they don't have good space, they try to compensate with it. And when they try to compensate by dashing in, by throwing out an attack, whiffing, or something like that, you can catch them sleeping with that fierce punch. I'm also a big fan of her standing medium punch, the strong. That was that. It's got deceptively good distance, even though it doesn't have quite as good damage. But you can keep your opponent on your toes with that too. Particularly after a jab string, a crouching jab string, you can throw that out. They'll think they're far enough back. You basically train them with the jabs to think they know what the distance is. And once they get outside the distance, you can throw out the strong. When you throw out the strong, it gets the hit, because usually a counter hit, because they are not expecting you to come in that way. She doesn't have many special moves. She has basically 3 special moves. I'm going to give her 3. Most people give her only 2. One is the orb, which can be sent out and brought back in with a simple fireball motion. It goes into 3 different directions. All of them forward, but one is like a lower, angled lower, one's kind of straight horizontal, the other one angles up. I want to say the distances change too, with the heavy angled up being the one that goes furthest. You also have to learn with the EX versions what each individual button press does. If you do light, light strong, for example, that's going to be, or jab strong, for example, it does different than jab heavy. So you have to know what you're doing and when you're using it. The second of her moves is basically with a Shoryu motion. Oh, we can win this. Oh, we can win this. Punish! Didn't punish. We can still win this. Oh no, don't play too defensively. Wow. Wow. Not gonna lie, that hurts my soul a little bit. Just a little bit. But like I was saying, her second motion, or second special move, allows her to jump into the air for basically a command grab. It's a really neat tactic. It's done with the Dragon Punch motion. You can jump up in the air, grab them, charge them full of energy, and then throw them away. This move is probably the most fun. It also is very unsafe if you whiff it. Mainly because not only does she jump and miss, but when she misses, she does this little stomp thing, like she's so upset that she didn't catch him. So you should really use that one only for, I think that's mainly supposed to be used for combos as opposed to punishes. The third being her V skill. A lot of people don't give her that as a special move. That is that move that I just did. What the V skill does, it is a reflect a la Rose, who is her master or mistress or whatever you want to call it. It is useful in both damage properties, in that you can in combos with it to push your opponent back. It's also useful if they throw out projectiles. If they throw out projectiles, you are able to bounce them back as long as they are not EX projectiles. That is very interesting in the early levels because you're fighting people like Akuma, who feels like if he does the triple hit, wow, that was a bad move right there, bad punish. Who feels like if he does a triple hit fireball, the Go Hadouken, then he should be able, you should not be able to bring it, bounce it back, but you are able to bounce those attacks back. Anything that is not an EX projectile, you are able to bounce back. The key to Menat was what you saw there, being able to throw the orb out to continue a combo and then recall it to keep on with the combo. That is probably one of the best things about her character. One of the things I tried to work on when I did this was something that I, see right there, I probably should have gone into the throw, or the DP motion. And right there is where you see the V skill being used in a combo offensively. One of the things I kind of worked on, particularly in trying to develop, was throwing the orb out, having it out on the other side of the opponent, pressuring them with different attacks, and then going into an overhead. The first hit of the overhead can be cancelled into recalling the orb, which is a very, very, very neat tool, and you can start a lot of combos that way. Particularly because a lot of people are ready to attack and fight back after you do that overhead, particularly that first hit. They're planning their counterattack right then and there, and you can be able to catch your opponent slipping. Given a lot of tips and things that I learned while playing Menat, the other thing I would tell you is you really got to put time and effort into her. I think that was the biggest thing, was trying to realize that I can't just go in and play Menat like I can a lot of other players. I would say Abigail is even an easier play through than Menat. She's not meant for that kind of just plug and play style. You really need to be methodical with your motions. You've got to be methodical with your movements, know exactly what you want to do when you attack, and capitalize when you can. I don't have a lot of good combos. I did not study my crush counters as well as I should have. That's why you don't see such good punishes, which is also why you see a lot of throws, because just ain't ready. But you can see she is pretty adept at keeping people out. As long as you keep them in that mid-range, they have to deal with you. Now with Ken, you'll see him try this a couple times actually. He's going to try to, instead of staying in the mid-range, back up and throw fireballs. That's probably a better idea with Ryu than Ken. But because she has the reflect game, I think it's difficult for either one of them to kind of excel in.
Round one.
Nevertheless, that probably is the best way to kind of play her. Force her to, if you beat her in the long range game, or the mid to long range game, you're going to force her to come in. And with a character like Ken, that's exactly what you want. Far more effective inside, and her moves are a little slower. Or they just, maybe they weren't, maybe I'm just pressing the wrong moves, but they feel a little slower. A good move if you're going in is either crouching short or standing short. They seem to come out just a little faster than the other moves, and that you can start a good combo that way. I think there's a crouching short, standing jab, or sorry, crouching short, crouching jab into V skill. That is a basic combo. These are options. I didn't go that deep into those as I should, or as deep into those as I should, but those are options that you can do. Coming close to the end of the match. The slide is a very good tactic as well. The slide can go under projectile, so it's really good. The V skill is something that you really need to kind of take your time with. You need to know what it does and how to use it before you start just getting in there willy-nilly. Miss! And no good punish, just a punish. Her V skill summons those 6 orbs around her. You can either hold a button and release it or tap it twice to have them shoot out. Each orb corresponds to a separate button. Your jab, your strong, your fierce, your short, your forward, and your roundhouse. All those correspond to a different button. So you can send them all out at one time, you can send them out in 2 waves, you can send them out one at a time. You have a bunch of different options. The trajectory of the orbs determines mainly on your position when you throw them. I'm pretty certain that if you throw them while just standing in the neutral, they go in a straight path, it's right across the screen. If you jump, they angle downward at your opponent. If you are crouching, they angle upward. So they can be used as anti-airs, they can be used, maybe not overheads, but as mix-up potential. There's a number of different things you can do, particularly because she has that kick there. I want to think it's called the Namoon kick or something like that. It's very simple to, or similar to Dhalsim's coffin dive. And yo, if you do it right, you can have very good mix-ups on your incoming attacks. That's going to take some timing and some practice that I just didn't have the time for. Particularly because I wanted to get these videos out before Arcade Edition started. I still got to get Zeku up, but I did want to make sure I got these all out before Arcade Edition got here. If nothing else, we can be fresh and ready for Hero Sakura. By the way, I just read that Arcade Edition is going to be like another 21 gigs. Good lord. All of the space, I got to get rid of some stuff. Mainly because I still have that basic hard drive for my PlayStation. I finally got one, isn't that nice? But because of that, you know, it's kind of rough to watch. It's kind of rough to deal with. Bring it back, bring it back. Again, I wasn't going to win that fight at full screen. I probably could have done more pressure with the reflex, but I did not. See that? Simple combo that you're able to do. Man, if I can win this, it'd be really great. Simple combo that you're able to do just because you're able to extend it by recalling that orb. I am very surprised that I won that, and also thrilled and elated. You probably can't hear it in my voice, but oh, it's there. Dance for me. Dance for me, baby. Yeah, girl. And that is that. Taking that win, baby. But very unique character. I really like the way they did Menat. I wish more characters in this season had have been done like this. Between Menat and Zeku and Abigail. Abigail to a much lesser extent. I don't know. Maybe every character in this game or in this season was unique, but to varying levels, so I don't think we gave them respect they really deserved for it. For example, Colleen's, wow, he was just mashing it and I'm letting him. That sucks. Colleen's stun mechanic with the ice was very unique. It changes the way you play that character because you kind of play around that stun if you can get the V trigger going. And there are a lot of attacks that you can get that V trigger started. Maybe not so much with Ed. I don't know what Ed did that really changed the way you played the game, but for the fact that he was another punch-based fighter. No, he still had his good kicks. I don't know. I guess maybe the tendrils. I don't know. I don't know if Ed did anything to really change the game. The way you play. I mean, Abigail was a big difference just because of the fact that he's huge, and he had a lot of armored attacks. More so than most characters in this game. I really feel like they kind of dialed back armored attacks from what they had in Street Fighter 4. But Abigail was able to utilize a lot more of those, and I think that was very important in his playstyle. But then you start getting to like Menat, and you start playing around the orbs, and like her orb and her V trigger. Her V trigger is actually meant for you to play around, you know, sending orbs in different directions. That's an entirely different thing. When you get to Zeku, you're dealing around the not stances like Gin would have, but just the transformations, and it kind of like Gen, it legitimately feels like you're playing more than one character just as you play along. But not talk about too much about Zeku right now, just because of the fact that this ain't a Zeku video. Much as I love him. Shout out to you, Zeku. Old ninja.
Round 1.
Alright, lost the first round against... I don't know why I'm not hitting that or punishing it. Oh, because I don't know the character, that's right. Playing against Rashid. I like this costume for Rashid, by the way. I think that's really neat. I don't know if I've bought it yet, but if I haven't, I want to. And I probably will. Matter of fact, I might go do it right after I finish this video. They've come out with some really good costumes. I know Capcom gets a lot of flack for not having as good of costumes as the modders. Of course, the modders can do whatever they want. If the modder wants your character to look like a Dragon Ball Z character, they give them the Dragon Ball Z outfit, complete with the Roshi symbol, set up a stage at Kami House, and just do that. You can't do that as Capcom. You just can't. Now, some of the things they do that the modder community is able to do has absolutely nothing to do with anything with copyright. They just come up with really good ideas, and that's really good. But I think Capcom comes up with better ideas than they're given credit for. This is Menat's base costume. I don't think her base costume is that bad. I know they've got 150 costumes for Chun-Li, because, you know, why not? Why not have 150 costumes for Chun-Li? That's great. But sometimes they do like the sporty thing. I really like Rashid sporty. I like Laura sporty. Some of the sporties are less sporty and they're just like swimwear. Which, I mean, swimming is a sport, but they're not dressed like sport swimming. They are dressed like, you know, I'm going to the beach swimming. And they're like, sporty outfits. And I'm like, no, you just want to put them in a bikini. Which is fine, but just say that. Like, that's one thing I think video games, particularly fighting games, should do, is just be honest with themselves, with the same way like Dead or Alive is. Dead or Alive is very honest with themselves as who they are. I mean, when they want to put up sexy costumes, they just say sexy costumes and go with it. That is what it is. I know Capcom doesn't want to do that because they're trying to maintain an esports type atmosphere, but you know, which I think is why we got the Laura Sport outfit that looks as good as it does. Because I think the notion was this is going to be esports friendly, and if we can't have them wear anything else, we can have her wear this, and nobody's really going to care. Which I maintain, I don't understand why people are upset with the outfits the computer-generated characters wear, because we watch cheerleaders wear much less, and nobody says a word. Nothing against cheerleaders. I love you, cheerleaders. I'm so glad I didn't get caught by that. I was going to cry. Send the orbs! Send the orbs! I didn't have a combo ready for it, though. I can win this. I can win this. No follow-up, no punish. I knew he was going to do that. I knew he was going to do that, and I still let him do it. Ugh. Had him right where we wanted. Let him off the hook. You want to crown him? Crown him! Anyway, that's it from Menat. I did not have a super successful run with her, but, you know, it is what it is. We're going to launch Zeku coming up soon. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. Peace out!